Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Sane-ish podcast. I'm Holly Broughton, and we are here today for episode 6. And I'm so excited because my guest today is a friend of mine. I have actually been on his podcast, which is called Grief. Let's Talk About It. And he's a wonderful individual who has gone through quite a bit. A lot of what he's been through parallels with mine. And it's funny in the recovery community how there are a lot of similarities. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter your race, creed, color, blah, all of that kind of stuff. There are quite a few similarities with a lot of us, and we can connect and make a difference in each other's lives. So, anyway, without further ado, I want to welcome Tony Lynch. So, Tony, welcome. Thank you so much for doing Sane-ish, and welcome.
Yes, of course. And thank you, Holly, for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here, and watching you grow into this podcast community is so exciting, and it's such an honor to be here to share my journey with your audience.
Well, thank you. And I listen, it was an honor to be on your show, and that was a step for me. And just to have your support in general is huge. Because this is me facing my fear in real time. So
Yes.
so yeah, I appreciate that. And the recovery community is a huge help
Yeah.
when it comes to that. So tell us, um, tell us about you and how you came into this world, and how you know like from beginning to where you are now and how you're making a difference.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Tony Lynch. I am in Fort Collins, Colorado. I am a men's grief coach, have been for 6 years. I have two nonprofits, Memories of Us, where I dedicate time to helping men navigate the world of grief, trauma, mental health, and addiction, helping them get off the streets. I also have another network or organization called the Global Grief Network, where I'm partnered with grief practitioners, mental health practitioners, trauma-informed coaches from around the world for the simple purpose of coming together to network, collaborate, but bringing resources to our communities that otherwise wouldn't even know that we're there. So it's a huge network, and we're steadily growing. Still looking for grief practitioners to come in and join this growing network. I am a two-time published author. One of my books has already went international bestseller. One book is looking like it's going to become a bestseller. I have five more books coming out, which I'll be announcing those as they begin to get to the final stages of publishing. I am a podcast host. So right behind me, you guys see the logo, Grief Let's Talk About It podcast. Find me on YouTube. I have over 800 plus episodes. Holly's been a guest on there. So please go and check those out as well. I also am the chief editor of Grief Talk magazine and also the host of the Global Grief Conference. So, just to say just that little bit right there, I I've made it a point to have a name in the grief community. I just didn't expect it to be the way that it is, and it's been a beautiful journey. And as you said, Holly, we all come from somewhere, right, from the beginning.
Mhm.
And so hopefully your audience have time so to even answer that, because it's a multi-layered answer.
Yep.
So I'm originally from Newport News, Virginia. Was born there up until the age of 15. And just like I was born into a good family, grandmothers, grandfather, uncles, aunties, 21 of them, with my mom being the oldest out of all of them. Huge military background, things like that. And you know, growing up, we were disciplined, but we were kids. and things like that. I used to love drawing. I have a sister that's 2 years younger than me. And, at the age of 6 years old, I was molested twice by my neighbor's son. His mother and my mother was best friends. And when it happened the first time, I tried to tell people, no one ever believed me. And then shortly after that, it happened again. So I used that to my advantage. I said, since no one's going to believe me, I have to learn how to protect myself, right? I knew I wasn't going to let it happen again. Either he was going to kill me or I was going to kill him one way or another. And this is the way I had to think about it at the age of 6 years old, because what it did, it changed my reality. And it showed me that no matter what happens, no one's going to come save me. Two, there was people out here capable of doing really bad things to people, and he was one of them. And so when it almost happened the third time, I stabbed him in the stomach.
Mhm.
And I told him, you ever touch me again, I'll cut your head off. But what it did, with that loss of innocence, it made me look at the world totally different, right? I began to see people around me and see the things that they were doing. And I noticed that the kids my age was very oblivious to the things that was going on. Like we still rode bikes, we still went and fished at the ocean. We still went and built sand castles, swim in the ocean, flipping across fences, and being typical kids.
Yeah.
It's just being a Generation X. We was always taught, hey, get out the house and go play in traffic, and so that's what we did. Um, but in the other side, watching these guys walk around, I used to watch them make money. I used to watch them drive the cars. I saw them with the females, and I thought to myself, like, I want to do that, right? But
Mhm.
how can I do this without letting my parents know, my mom and my dad?
Mhm.
And but now here's the other side. I used to watch them drinking all the time. So they never really paid attention to me or my sister, right? They was always playing cards and drinking with the rest of the family and et cetera. I said, okay, I can pretty much do this. But how do you do it? Well, I still have to maintain a A+ average in school.
Mhm.
I still have to be respectful. I still have to go and mow grandmother's lawn, rake up the leaves when I need when they call me, take out the trash, clean up my room, still be a big brother to my sister. Okay, I got that part down pat. So what I realized is that early on that there was times where I can get away from things. And I would go over and I would used to watch the guys on the block. And I used to watch them. And I was so young that, I was over there watching, boy, what you doing over here? You're not supposed to be over here with us. This grown folks business. So after I used to go over there every day and just watch them, right? Watch them sell
Mhm.
drugs and watch how they talk to one another. Then I used to watch them carry guns and things like that. And I used to just pay attention to them. Very, very observant. And at the age of 11, I said, okay, I've mowed enough lawns. I got probably about I got probably about $30, right? I mowed some lawns. So I go to a guy that I knew ever since I was a kid, and I went to him and say, hey, man, I got $30. I wanna I wanna double it. I wanna be able to buy me some clothes, man, and some shoes, and because I'm tired of wearing Payless shoes and hand-me-down clothes and things like that. And he looked at me and was like, boy, your mom would kill me if she knew. I said, she'll never know, you know? And at first, he just kind of blew me off, and I kept going back. I was like, "Hey, man, like I just want to double this. I just want to make a little money so I can still get penny candy and things like that." And so eventually, he said, "You really serious about this?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "All right. I'm gonna show you what you need to do, but you need to stay around me so I can watch you, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do this, then you got to learn some rules out here on the streets. First rule: don't ever trust nobody." Not even me. He goes, because you never know. I could be the one that rob you. Okay. He goes, secondly, if you're going to get into this dope game, you got to watch the people around you, right? Don't be around crowds of people all the time. The police, their job is to catch you. Your job is to not get caught, right? You got to
Mhm.
know how to move within the shadows. And you can't be running around here afraid, right? So what we need to do first, we need to get you a gun. So he gave me a little 25 automatic. He goes, now if you pull this gun, you might just be sure that you're going to use it, right? It's not for show and tell. Because if you don't use it, the next person will. And you don't mean nothing to anybody out here. You're just another dude out there on the streets. These people that you know would be the same ones that kill you. So I'm learning, I'm taking this on. So he took my $30 and he gave me some rocks. He goes, now I'm gonna show you what this is, right? The goal is to double your money. If you can make a little extra, okay. But the goal is to always double your money. So you gave me 30. So when you come back to me, I expect you to have 60 to $80. Right? I'm gonna throw a little something up in there. This is what's called a nickel rock. This is a dime. This is a 20. Right? By you being so small, don't you ever go over 20. Okay. Unless somebody comes with $40, then you give them two of these. So I'm paying attention. I'm becoming very street smart. And I'm still going to school every day, right? I'm the little nerdy kid in school, so no one ever put two and two together.
Double
Hmm.
life.
Yeah, double life. No one ever put two and two
Double life at
together.
11 years old.
Yeah, at 11 years old, right? And so, after school, Mom, can I go outside and play with my friends? Yeah, boy, just be in before the street lights come on. Okay, so I'm going out there. I see my friends. Hey man, I'll catch up with y'all later. I'm gonna go over here. And I go out there and I start selling little nickel rocks on there, and it took me about 3 days to make $60. And so I go back to him. He's like, man, you gotta move that stuff faster than that, man. You have to be able to move faster than that. I said, man, I gotta deal with this. He goes, I know. But the drug dealing game is that you don't want you don't want to be holding on to product, right? You don't have to go out here and be a salesman. The product sells itself. You just got to be in the right place at the right time and have what people need. Okay. So now I did that. And he goes, I tell you what, you keep 20 of this. You give me that 40. Now I ain't gonna jip you, but I'm gonna give you this much. This is going to help you. With this you'll be able to make 100, $120, $140, right? So the key to it is that you never want to give all your money to the dope man. Keep a little money for yourself. Just keep a little bit, but invest the majority of it back into it. So I learned that.
Mhm.
And over a period of time, I got really good, right? People see me, oh man, look, there's little man, you know what I'm saying, out there. And I'm out there with the big dudes and stuff like that. Yeah, they talk trash and stuff like that. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. And then I do my little thing, you know what I'm saying, and go disappear. They knew I'm in school, right? Boy, you need to stay your butt in school and this, that, and another. Man, forget you, man. Then I learned how to talk trash with the big boys. Oh, you think you big, huh? Yeah, I do. So then one day I was out there and one of the guys came up. He goes, man, I have to knock you out and take all your stuff away from you. I'm young. He's a grown man. I'm looking at him. And I remember what was being told to me, don't you ever show that you're afraid of anybody. That's when you're gonna find your problems. So I turned around, I said, then do it then. He goes, oh, you must think you bad. No, but you ain't gonna take nothing away from me. And he tried and I beat the crap out of him. Ever since then, people's like, oh, little man got hard, right? I just beat the holy crap out this grown dude. I knew he was going to come back and try to get me too. I knew he was, right?
Mhm.
So the dude that took me on his wing, he was like, you better be careful of him. He's a killer. He's going to come back when you least expect it. So keep your head on the swivel, or keep your back up against the wall and just pay attention to where you at. Don't have any open spots around you because if he can sneak up on you, he's going to get you. Okay, cool. Now that I know this, right? And sure enough, it didn't take him long. He did come back. And he tried to get me, but I was already 5 steps ahead of him. I was like, ooh, I already know. So,
Mhm.
long story short, he never messed with me again. And other people was like, oh, so all right. And so then after that, the next fight happened. Then more fights started happening, right?
Mhm.
And I got good at fighting. And my mother was like, hey, boy, I'm gonna put you in martial arts. So my mom put me in martial arts, and I
But
excelled.
she said she still didn't know.
She still didn't know.
Okay.
She
Oh,
still didn't know, because most of the turns in my clothes and stuff, my mom was like, he's a typical boy. He's gonna be out there playing with his friends, tearing up his clothes. That's why he got street. That's why he
yeah.
got
Yeah.
his play clothes and stuff. And so I stayed like that. And over the next 4 years, I met some other people. And I went from selling little nickel rocks, 20 rocks on the corner to selling ounces and 8 balls. And then from there, these people just moved me up the ladder. And I started meeting people that was like, hey, if you got 15,000, I can get you a kilo. What? Okay, 15,000 for a kilo. All right, let me see what I can do. And then the one of the guys that I was with, he was like, hold on, check this out. Not only if you got 15,000, we'll give you this kilo, I'm gonna give you two more. First rule, don't ever let nobody front you anything. You never want to be in debt to another drug dealer, especially someone of that caliber. So I said, no, 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 no. I don't want to do that. He goes, no, check it out. You ain't gonna owe me nothing, but this is gonna help you get to where you need to be. He goes, I'll give you about a week to get rid of everything. 3 days, I was coming back. I done sold all of that, right? So
Mhm.
now I'm meeting more people, and now I'm getting more involved in it, right? And now I'm selling anywhere from 50 to 60 kilos a week. Okay, so now I got this money coming in. And then somebody comes and says, hey man, I see that you know a lot of people. I got the shipment of guns. Now I can't tell you who the people are, right? But they were people that you would normally trust, right? You know what I'm saying? People that was in your
Mhm.
neighborhood that you would normally trust. Because I got this shipment of guns, man. You helped me get them off into the streets, man. You know what I'm saying? You can keep X amount. I said, no, that don't sound right. Because if I'm going to be putting myself at risk and everything, I'm gonna need a little more than that. So I've already developed a good business sense. They said, well, we know that you're selling drugs. We'll let you sell the drugs, and we'll give you 60% of this. I said, no, that's a better deal. And you ain't got to worry about anything. And so at that time, there was dudes moving into the neighborhood trying to take over, and they said, look, got some people over there trying to move in on the territory. We can't touch them, but you can. What do you mean? Well, just so happened, what if you had a hour window? Would you be able to go in there and rob them of everything that they had? No consequences. That okay. So they used to set these guys up, and we used to rob them, beat them up, and send them back where they came from. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then we grew from there. And now, I'm about 4 years in. I'm about to turn 15. As a matter of fact, I just turned 15. And I had a really, really strange, I had gotten so big that I didn't even know, right? I'm still
Yeah.
the kid going around, straight A student in school. My dad didn't know. My dad was military. My family's military. They're all alcoholics. And I'm just like, okay, but I never looked at the money and said, I want to go get those fresh pair of Jordans, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I looked at the money and said, well, now I can get me a better pair of Payless shoes. I can go to the high-end thrift store over across town, and I can buy some nice clothes, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I wasn't spending money all out crazy and stuff like that, because I didn't even know how much money I was making. I just got to a point I just started throwing money in duffel bags and things like that. And one night, um, one night I was coming home and I had this real bad feeling, and something just said, "Go get everything out of the car." So I had 6 cars in front of my mother's house, and my mother didn't even know those were mine. Here I am, 15. I don't have a driver's license, but I got all these cars. And so I came in, and and instinctively I went back out to the cars and I started grabbing the duffel bags, bringing them to my mother's house. And my mother started looking. She goes, "Baby, what's in those duffel bags?" I said, Mama, I'll talk to you in a bit. So I go out and I grab a few more and I bring them in. She goes, hold on, boy. What's in those duffel bags? I said, hold on, Mama, I'll tell you. Just let me go out here and grab some more stuff. And I'll come in and I will explain everything to you. So I brought them all in. And she comes up and she goes, all right, boy, you got one time. And if you lie to me, I'm going to break your damn neck. Yes, ma'am. She says, what's in the duffel bags? And I opened up the first duffel bag and it was full of cocaine, kilos. And I opened up the second one, it was full of kilos. And I opened up, there's about 6 duffel bags I got on the bed. 2 of them was full of money and the other 2 was full of guns. And so my mother looked at me, she goes, so the rumors are right, the rumors are true. I said, yes, ma'am. She goes, okay. She goes, they're going to get you. They're setting you up. I say, yes, ma'am. That's why I'm bringing everything in. She goes, well, that can't stay here. But what we're going to do is that we're going to write a ledger. I'm going to show you how to write a ledger to protect yourself. I need you to write down all the names of the people that you dealt with. I said, I can't write down all the names, but I will do. I'll write down those people that are in politics, that are in the judicial system. I'll write down the DAs, the judges. I'll write down the police officers. I'll write down how much I've gotten from them and how much I've made from them because I remember everything. My mom
Mhm.
said, okay. So I did. 2 days later, they busted me.
Oh my gosh.
2 days later, they busted me, right? And so they couldn't do anything with me because they never found anything. But they were still we were still going to court, and the original sentence that they were going to try to give me was 266 years.
Oh my
260 years, 266 years at the age of 15. They was going to charge me as an adult. They said they had me on trafficking, all these other different charges, and I was just like, mm-hmm. My mother looked at me and she goes, "Psst, hey, we in court." She goes, "Hey, give this to the judge." I said, "Okay." So she gives it to me. My attorney's like, "What is that?" I said, "I need to give this to the judge." And my attorney looked at it. He was like, "Ooh." He goes, "This is your trump card. This is your trump card. This is going to keep you from going to jail." So we went up and gave it to the judge. And I told the judge, I said, if I go down, all of y'all come with me. That's not the only copy. There's 6 more. Anything happens to me, nothing's going to be able to save you. That judge went back to his chambers, looked at the book, came back out and dismissed all the charges.
Wow.
Dismissed all the charges. So 15 years old, I made a decision. I told my mom, I said, I got to leave. She goes, I know. She goes, where you going to go? I said, I think I'm going to go to job corps. She goes, so you're just going to drop out of school? I said, no, ma'am, I'm on the verge of graduating. 15 years old and about to graduate. As soon as I said that, 2 days later, I end up shooting 2 guys at school, so I end up getting expelled anyway.
You did what in
I
school? You
shot 2 guys. I shot 2 guys at school.
Oh wow.
Um, because they was going to come and try to do something to me, and I told them like, don't threaten me, don't threaten me. These guys was from a whole nother school. Boy, we'll kill you and this. Okay. So when they came back the next day, I looked at them. They was over there talking trash, and I was sitting out at the football field. The guy was, and they was already talking trash. I said, didn't y'all tell me yesterday the job was going to kill me? Yeah, we're going to do it. I said, okay, here you go. And I shot him. Um, I would have got away with it, but the teacher saw me. So I chased the teacher. She ran into the school and locked the door.
Mm,
And I had already been in trouble. I just got out of trouble. I
yeah.
just sat there and I took the gun and put it on the stairs. I waited. Cops come, grandma come. Oh my God. They didn't charge me um, because there was 2 of them. And they were like, he was only defending himself. He was only, I didn't kill him. I just shot him. So they expelled me from school. Now, here's where the journey starts to go a little bit different, right? Because now I leave Virginia, I go to Washington, D.C. for 2 years. I go to Job Corps, get my GED, get my certification in business management. I'm actually living a pretty peaceful life at this time, right? No worries.
Peaceful straight life.
Yeah, peaceful straight life. Like I wasn't selling drugs. I was actually working for the U.S. Department of Labor. To get my GED, I was studying physics over at Howard University, and I was playing football. I got into lifting weights. I got into drawing for the local newspaper, you know, and it was a good time. It was peaceful. It was fun. I didn't mess with, I was actually teaching karate. I got into boxing, I was taking kung fu and everything. So not too bad, not too bad, right?
Mhm.
And then I meet my oldest daughter's mom. She gets pregnant. We leave Washington, D.C. because my time was up. And we moved to Colorado. We have our daughter, Tatiana. 6 months later, while we out here in Colorado, we lived down in Denver. Life just said, "You're not done. You're not done. Well, I'm
Mhm.
not done with you yet." And it started from one incident. This guy tried to This guy tried to do harm to me when I had my family. And I told him, just leave me alone. Please, just leave me alone. And he stood in between me and my family. I told him, I said, well, now you only got one option. You either move or I'm going to move you. Right? Oh, you're not going to do anything. And I beat that man within an inch of his life.
Wow.
I realized what I had done. My daughter's mom looked at me and she had this fear in her eyes. And inside, I knew what just happened. I knew what just happened. And I looked at her. I said, look, I need you to take her because I can't run from this. These guys know who I am now. Tatted, everything. These guys know
Mhm.
who I am now. Take her. Get far as away from me as you possibly can. If you need anything, let me know. You don't have to let me know where you are. Just let me know and I'll Western Union to you or whatever needs to happen. But you know what I'm saying? You need to take her. You need to go.
Mhm.
You don't even have to tell her who I am. If you decide that you don't want to stay in contact with me, that's totally fine too. I get it. So she did. She took my daughter at the age of 6 months old. She moved. And it was the best decision because shortly after that, my life changed dramatically. Dramatically. I have no family out here. So I started staying in hotels. Um, I got back involved in the gangs and I went deeper than you can ever even freaking imagine. Like I was deep into it, right? Back
Would
to
that,
fighting.
Tony, would that be because you sent them off and because you feel like you lost your daughter? You were
No, I
separated
just
from.
knew that instinctively I knew what was going to happen. When
Oh,
life comes and says, I'm not done with you, I
yeah,
just look, Holly, I just left all of this behind.
yeah, yeah,
I started a process that wasn't finished.
yeah,
I left before it was finished.
yeah,
So just because I'm in a different place doesn't mean that the process stops.
right,
It just means we got to pick up where we left off.
right,
And that's what it did.
yeah.
It did exactly. I got back involved with the gangs, with the here I am gang banging again, selling drugs, fighting again. Went deeper than anything I can ever imagine, and for the next 20 some years, it was bad. Ended up going to prison in 1994. Sentenced to 5 years for a crime I never committed, but I took it as a slap on the wrist because they never caught me for what I was doing. In and out of hotels. I knew how to move around. Don't stay in one area for too long, right?
Mhm.
Selling drugs, you know, living very recklessly, women, fast cars, drinking, fighting, whatever came along with that. Um, People started dying around me. And I watched them all die. Second rule, don't ever be attached to
Mhm.
anyone because they may not be here tomorrow, just like you. This
Mhm.
gangbanger road, as much as we want to say that his family is very lonely, and it
Mhm.
and it's very painful because it's because the things that you see, it's going to change you. And I've always lived like that, never being attached to anyone, not being able to trust anyone, just doing what I do, right? And I've met some pretty cool people. They're all dead now. I watched them all die. I've lost some really good friends. Um, I got out of prison in 1999, and in early 2000, I was shot 22 times by some rivals. I wasn't even mad that they got me, um, but they should have killed me. Because I told them, I said, I got to come back and get you now. I'm going to come back and get you. You guys should have killed me when you had a chance to. But fair is what it is, right? You get me, I'm gonna get you, right? So I did. I went on a rampage for 9 months, just going crazy. No rules. Gloves are off. Whatever happens, happens. And after that 9 months, there was a truce called. Um, and then shortly after that, I got set up to my so-called buddies, homies, set me up to get me killed. That didn't go well. So then they tried to kill me themselves, and that didn't go well. Finally, I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I am I am done with this. You guys can keep this. And I ended up leaving, became homeless again. Um, and it was pretty bad. But I never once ran home. I never asked anybody for help. I went through it. And sleeping in trash cans and eating out of trash cans, abandoned buildings, and trying to survive the best way I knew how, not knowing what was going to happen, drinking more and more. But I found my way out. I climbed myself out. I worked at it. I really did. I worked at it. Ego, pride, all of that stuff was gone. And I found myself in just different places. I met some pretty cool people along the way. I started back working for a day labor. That's how I climbed out the that time.
Mhm.
And then, got involved with some people that drank, and I lost everything again. Moved around even more. Ended up in some amazing places with some interesting people. Um, and people that really was nice to me, right? People that was nice to me. And they took me in and helped me, and I eventually got myself a good paying job moving furniture, and I ended up in some more different places. I ended up back in the hood again, and I lost everything again, and I left there again and moved up to the mountains, and things was good for a minute until I met a guy. He set me up in Arizona. And I got arrested out there for trafficking in marijuana. And I spent the year in prison out there. And I came back and I lost everything again. And I moved out of the mountains. I moved all over the place again. And I just moved from place to place to place to place. And I met one of my really good friends, James Maxwell, and he took me in. And uh, he let me rent out a room in his garage for $250 a month. And then from there, he and I just had this beautiful friendship, brotherhood, and going out every weekend, drinking at the bars, and going to church every Sunday. It was we was a mess, but we had a blast. We wasn't mess with nobody. I had pretty much left the gang lifestyle a lot alone, although I still had the mentality.
Mhm.
And no more selling drugs though. I stopped selling drugs, but the drinking got out of control. But I didn't know it at the moment. And I met another guy, and he went, "Hey man, I got a house down here. I would love to rent it out to you." Now, mind you, I'm about ready to turn 30, 31, 32 years old. And I've never had a place of my own,
Mhm.
right? I've never had a place of my own. I've always lived on the streets, bounced around from place to place, being where I need to be because when I needed to be there, right? I didn't realize that this was the path. This was the journey.
Mhm.
I didn't know. I did not know. So I get into this house, beautiful house. 1.5 bedroom, big old yard, dog run. I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Right? So now I got my own place. My friends helped me furnish it, and it was a good time. I was safe. I haven't been safe in a very long time. So now things change up a little bit. Now, instead of going to the bars, now, we go to the bar one day. Now we got a new club that we go to. And I got into one night stands, drinking and one night stands. And I got really good at doing that because I was like, this is safe. No, I'm not hurting anybody. We get what we need and we're going about our way, etc. Then I meet my son's mother, right? I didn't know that she was going to be my son's mother, but I meet her. She's supposed to have been a one night stand. She stayed around. I was like, oh God. Eventually she gets pregnant. So now here's where it gets really interesting again, right? So she gets pregnant. She lives in Loveland, Colorado. I live in Denver, Colorado. She's like, hey, I'm about to buy a condo. You should move in with me. We should buy this condo together. She's pregnant. I said, okay, yeah. So I leave all of that and I moved up to Loveland, Colorado with her. Um, and December 18th, 2006. No, 2007. She gives birth to our son, Jake. And this is when I found out what a narcissist is because I didn't know. Now, when Jake was born, I quit drinking. Quit drinking, right? No more. I am not going to do it. So I quit drinking. She begins to become verbally abusive and sometimes physically abusive. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I didn't sign up for this.
And I
So,
want to point out too, Tony, I want to stop you there because I want to point out that a lot of times people think it people think that men are narcissists, but women are narcissists too.
yeah. I found out
So
the hard way.
yeah, so we want to level the playing fields here because women are narcissists too. So thank you for pointing that out. So
Yeah.
um, you know, it's people need to keep that in mind and you know be aware of the red flags on
Yeah.
both sides.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, I'm sorry. I just wanted to mention that because a lot of
Yeah.
times it seems that men are the ones that are pointed out, but women are narcissists
Yeah.
too. There are women narcissists. So
Yeah. The women are smarter.
I don't
The
know about
women are
that,
smarter. Oh, this one, she was deadly smart, right? Like she was so smart that she would do things and you'll never even know that she's doing it. Like the things that she did to me was freaking crazy, right? So, this is what she did. Like I left her. I was doing HVAC work at the time. I'm sleeping in my work van, and another good friend of mine took me in for a little bit. She found out where I was. It's like, look, let me help you get into a place. So not only did she help me get into a place, right? She helped me get into that place, but she also got me evicted out of that place, right? So
sounds
she
about
lived
right.
right down the street. She had my son. I was like, okay, my son is right here. I can come and see him and I could take him with me and this, that, another. When she realized that I wasn't coming back, she said, I don't want you to, like, you can't see your son anymore. But I still want you to take care of him, but you just can't see him anymore. I said, no, no, I'm not going to do it. So she began to stalk me. Then she got me fired from my job. And she stalked me so much that I eventually got kicked out of my place. So I got another job. She found out about that job, got me fired from that job. I got a vehicle, then I got a job. Then she got me fired from that job, got my vehicle, got that vehicle repossessed. So I got another vehicle. She got that one repossessed. Got another job. She got me fired from that job. Got another vehicle. She got that one repossessed. So here I am. And I got it to another place. She found out about there, got me evicted out of there. I said, damn.
Yeah, it's amazing the
I
lengths that they will
oh
go,
yeah.
the
Oh, she
energy that they
did.
put into uh whatever hatred or self-loathing that they have towards themselves really is what it is.
Yeah. I
But
didn't know.
yeah, it's
I
crazy.
never knew. I didn't know that a person can do that. This woman used to cuss me out in the middle of grocery stores. She used to stalk me, literally stalk me up and down the streets. I couldn't do nothing, right?
Mm,
Then when she decided to take me to court, she convinced the courts that I was a deadbeat dad, that I wasn't taking care of my kid. She forgot to mention all the birthdays and stuff like that that I used to bring presents over to her house. She used to take the presents back to the store and get the money and go out drinking. So my son never even knew that I bought him these presents.
yeah.
So for the next 2.5 years, between her and the courts, they beat up on me something good. I'm already homeless. I'm already home. I get to see my son for 2 hours a week, once a week. And I got to pay for that, right? And I took my butt whippings. Man, did I take my butt whippings. And I wanted to give up, but I didn't. And I'm glad that I didn't because eventually she got caught. But she didn't get, her oldest daughter set her up. She was being verbally and physically abusive to the kids at home drunk. Her oldest daughter found out, called the cops and CPS. So that's how everything changed around. Now, mind you, I'm still homeless. No one knows. No one knows. I'm sleeping behind my job. I went back to moving furniture. I'm sleeping behind my job. I'm sleeping down at the lake. I'm finding little places like buildings and stuff that have a lot of trees or bushes, and I would go sleep in there. No one knew. I didn't mess with nobody, but I never stopped. I never stopped. And when they did this, they contacted me. It was like we had to remove the kids. Now I'm still homeless. Then another buddy of mine took me in, and I started dating a young lady, and she was like, "You should move in with me." So I move in with her, and 6 months later, she moves out, right? And she leaves me the place. The landlord says, "Hey, I know that you're still there. Would you like to stay there?" 2 weeks later, I got custody of my son.
Wow.
2 weeks later, I got custody of my son. So I went through all of this, right? I get my son. Now, two things. I don't know how to be a father, and I don't know how to be a man. But I've already been humbled and humiliated. I ain't got nowhere else to go. So I turned to the one person that I never turned to, which was God. And I said, God, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't know how to be a man. And I don't know how to be a father. And every man that is around me right now from the church and everything, they're just as messed up as I am. So I need your guidance. Teach me. And I began to model my life around that, being respectful, being loving and kind, standing up for what's right, learning how to control myself. No alcohol, no lies, no women, no stealing, none of that. Live a good life. Only problem is now that I'm starting to model this, I still don't know how to be a father. My son was the one who taught me how to be a father. At a very early age, he's the one who taught me how to be his father. And I said, okay, you know, he taught me patience and grace. He taught me to see the world through his eyes. And in turn, he gave me unconditional love. I've never had that before. right?
It's funny how they teach you more than you can teach them.
Right, right. And during that course of time, I lost my dad and my younger brother, 3 months apart. Um, beat his father. And I started working a really good job driving trash truck. I got my CDL, and it was just me and him. It was just me and him, father. Look, I annoyed my son so bad that he said, Dad, you know I love you, right? I go, yeah. He goes, I got friends. I like to hang out with my friends, right? He goes, maybe you should get yourself a girlfriend. So I know what I'm supposed to do when I get older, right? He set me up something good too. He set me up, right? And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, like, did he just divorce me? Did my son just break up with me? Right? So he did. He broke up with me. And I didn't know it.
Emancipation.
Yeah, at a very early age. So I used to watch him go outside and play with his friends, and I used to sit in the house and go, oh, my brother's outside. I want to go outside and play. Oh my God.
You've
So,
already proven yourself when you go outside and play, you get into trouble.
right, 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 right. I can't do that. So I gotta watch my son go out here and play with his friends. And I used to sit there all sad and everything, like, oh, my brother don't want to play with me no more. But taking his advice, I started online dating. I met a nice young lady. Well, actually, before I meet the nice young lady, I met several nice young ladies. So now, it's not turning out the way that I thought it was going to turn out because now, looking for one woman, I didn't went through like 40 or 50 of them. My son is just looking at me now like, when I said that you were supposed to get a girlfriend, I didn't mean that, Dad. Like, you're not supposed to go and do it. He was like, Dad, is this what you really want to teach me? I go, no, no, I don't. So I stopped doing that. Then I meet one lady, and really good lady, and didn't last. We was together for probably about 2 years, somewhere around there. Good person, and her mother passed away, and that's what changed everything. And shortly after that, we broke up. I went on about my way. She went on about hers, although we still stayed in contact. And eventually we got together a couple years after, got back together. And 2 days after we got together, my son got sick. So let me back up a little bit. So 2 days before, well, before we got back together, the October 31st, 2015, my son suffered a major overdose because his pharmacist mixed his medication wrong. So instead of being out trick or treating, his mother and I are at the hospital watching our son go through this horrible thing. And the doctors mistreated us so bad, so, so bad, right? They never treated him for his overdose. Then he came back with a misdiagnosis saying that he wasn't gonna make it. The next day he woke up. So this is in October. He was 7 at the time. His birthday comes around. His mother decides that she's gonna abuse him, not once but twice. So I had to go get him. I mean, after the last time I told her, I said, "You'll never see him again. You stay away from us." Now I couldn't technically do that because of the courts. She knew this, but she did stay away. It wasn't until, let's see, that was December. It wasn't until February where she decided that she wanted to try. And she was like, "Can I see him?" And just another. I can't technically, by law, I can't take him, because she is the primary caregiver. Um, and everything, you know. And I told my son, I said, you ever need me, she ever touches you again, you give me a call. I'm on my way. He goes, I know that. So me and my son, we had a bond that would blow your mind, right? And at that time, I started my personal training company because I was starting a company for him, teaching him the ropes and everything, how to run a company. He was young. He was at that time he was 8 years old, and everything seems to be going well. Everything seems to be
Yes.
going good. And June 14th, he got sick. Um, don't know what happened, just got sick. And June 16th, he passed away from unknown causes. And that was crazy, right? That was crazy. And so here I am in the world again. Don't know what to do. It's just me now, right? It's just me. I got my younger sister, I got my mother, but they all live in Virginia.
Mm.
On July 25th of 2018, my mother passes away. And I'm like, dang, man, life just came back and just started beating me up again. And I told myself, I said, I'm not gonna, this is not gonna beat me. I was wrong. I lost everything again. Got involved with another young lady. Left Colorado, moved to South Dakota, only to find out that she was a racist. So I lost everything. Moved back to Colorado, homeless, bounced around on people's couches, etc. 9 months later, I tried to take my life, right? Um, and that's how I got here. Divine intervention. 2 seconds away from pulling the trigger. I ain't got nothing else to lose. Bill
Mm.
collectors are looking for me. I ain't got no home. You know, life could not get any worse. You cannot take nothing else away. I'm now an orphan in the world. My whole entire bloodline has been wiped out, right? My dad, my younger brother, and my son are gone. It's just me. I'm the oldest and the last of my bloodline. I said, well, if this is what you want, you got it. I'll give it to you. You ain't got to do nothing else to me, right? You've already stripped me of everything. I'm homeless. So go ahead and finish this. We ain't got to see what the rest of life holds for me. I can't take it anymore, right? And in that moment, things changed. Universe, whatever, God, whatever people believe in, I really don't care what people believe in. I just know for me, you know, God came in and he changed my whole direction in life. And that's when this thing called grief showed up. And I knew I wanted to know more about it. I didn't know why. I just knew I wanted to know more about it. It was something about it that I was intrigued about. So I came back to Colorado with all of this newfound information, and I didn't know what it was. So now here's what a sequence of events that led me to where I am today. So I'm at my buddy's house, and I just revealed to him that I tried to take my life. He's upset with me. Man, why didn't you call me? I didn't want to bother nobody. You should, man, come on now. And he goes into this whole spiel, you're family to me, you're my brother. My kids call you Uncle Tony. My wife loves you. You've been a huge part of this family. And I sad that you felt that you couldn't come to me. We've laughed together, but you couldn't share this with me. You're right. I couldn't. And I told him, I said, look, I need to go find some support because I don't know what to do with this. So I went out and I went to a support group. First indication, there was no men there. And I'm looking around, where's all the men at? So then I found another support group and I went to that one. Same thing. There's no men there.
Mhm.
I said, you know what? Let me ask. So I asked, I said, where's all the men at? They said, oh, they used to come. They stopped coming. And I started thinking to myself, like, First light bulb. Men don't talk around women. Why is
Why do
this?
you think that is? Why do you think that is?
Because the way that we're taught, vulnerability, weakness, right?
Is that
So when
because
you
men think that it's it
it's weak,
okay.
it's
That,
weak.
that that's
Right?
typical vulnerability,
Right. So you want me to be
typical
vulnerable in a place full of women, automatically I'm saying no because you're going to think I'm weak.
okay.
My job is to be protector and a provider. I can't, no, I can't do that around you. So I got to maintain my masculine nature. I got to continue showing you that I'm strong. So being in this group is a no-no, right?
Mhm.
Because I want to show you that I'm a good mate. I'm a potential mate, that I can do all the things that I'm supposed to do. I'm not emotional. I'm not weak. I'm strong. So they stopped coming. I put that together. And then I sat down and I said, God, I want to create a space for men to come to be supported by other men. So I had the bright idea. Now this is 2019. Uh, and I went back and I told my buddy, I bounced around this idea. I said, you know what? I hear about these nonprofits. I think I want to start a nonprofit. My buddy's looking at me. He's like, what? I think I want to start a nonprofit. He goes, what you going to call it? What you going to do? I said, you know what? I want to be around other men. So I want to learn how to navigate this thing and, and everything. So that's, he goes, well, what you going to call it? And I started going through these names, memories of me and, all about us and all of these different things. And finally, memories of us came. He says, why memories of us? I said, well, think about it. Men don't carry around pictures of our loved ones that have passed away. We keep it up here.
Mhm.
Memories of us. This is where we keep it safe. Because if you don't know, you can't take it and you can't hurt me with it.
Mhm.
I can keep it safe up here. You never have to know what I'm thinking. So Memories of Us was born. This is 2019. And so now I have another problem. Who am I supposed to tell this to? And so I meet a guy. He introduces me to this lady that's in the nonprofit world. We're just now starting up. She invites me to come to these groups. I'm going to these groups. I'm meeting so many other people. Tony, what do you do? I'm a men's grief coach. I have a nonprofit, Memories of Us. The nonprofit is dedicated to helping men navigate the world of grief, trauma, mental health, and addiction. So I took everything that I've gone through and I compiled it into this mission statement. Really? So then I found somebody to make cards for me. I hand out cards, right? The nonprofit doesn't even exist yet, but I'm speaking it as it does,
Mhm.
right? And I'm going to all these different places and I'm meeting all these different people. I'm handing out cards, speaking this thing as if it's already existed. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I meet one of my good friends, and she's been rocking with me since day one. And so now I'm coming up with this game plan. I need to get an office space. This is right before COVID, right?
Mhm.
And and I'm telling her about it. She goes, yeah. Oh yeah. So now I'm meeting other people that telling me about office spaces and stuff like that. How much is it? Oh, it's about $256 for office space. Really? You got a number I could call them, right? Then COVID hit. Right after I make the first phone call, they're like, yeah, we have office space. COVID hit. Everything shuts down. Now, 3 months into COVID, these people give me a call back. Hey, you still looking for an office space? Yeah. Want to come over and check out this office space? Yeah. So now COVID hit, and I'm going over to check out this office space. I love it. I have access to conference rooms and, what I'm saying, all these different things. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't really want to do mental health. I don't want to do addiction. I don't want to, I'm going to find some other organizations to work with to come in and do these. So now I've got another job working at a convenience store, working nights, working overnights. I said, this is what I'm gonna have to do. Do this during the daytime. I'm homeless, so this keeps me from sleeping on the streets. So I could do this at night, make a little money, provide the office space, and do this during the daytime. And I did. And I brought in these people and I helped them start their organizations. And things was going good. But now I'm sitting up here thinking, like, what else can I do to be better? Right. So I make a phone call and I tell this guy, these guys help you start nonprofits. And I tell this guy, I want to start a nonprofit, right? I want to start a nonprofit. He goes, okay, let's talk. That man asked me three questions that I couldn't answer. Do you have a social media presence? No. Do you have a website? No. Do you have this? No. He goes, well, when you figure all that stuff out, you come back, you let me know. I love the idea that you have, and I'm gonna help you start your nonprofit. So mind you, I'm still operating as if I'm doing a nonprofit out in the border in these other organizations. I'm helping them start theirs. And the process, the process was beautiful, right? Because I started learning about what it took. Still don't know nothing from nothing, right? I'm doing it like I know what I'm doing. And long story short, 2021, I became a 5113C. And I started podcasting. And because I wanted to have more conversations with people. I fell in love with this thing so much. I wanted to know more about it. So I started my very first podcast, Memories of Us. Then I started a production company. And the guys that was helping me run it, the agreement was, hey, I'm gonna do the interviews. You guys edit and put it up. We started our very first ever YouTube channel. Okay, cool. Right? As everything has it, what comes up must come down. So now I realize I'm spending so much time helping other people develop their nonprofits that I suddenly neglected myself.
Mhm.
And so then I took a step back. I said, look, y'all keep doing what you're doing. You don't have to pay for nothing. I'm taking care of all of this. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? You have access to the office. You have access to the conference rooms. Let's get some support groups going. But I have to go and I need to focus on building up mine, doing this grief thing. Whoo, they got so mad at me. Oh, now I'm being selfish.
Oh, Lord.
Now all I think about is myself. They drug me through the mud so bad. Oh my God. They talked bad about me and everything. I just sat up there and I laughed. I said, huh, what is going on here? I laughed. Eventually I got kicked out of my office, right? I got kicked out. So now I got to go virtual. So now I'm still homeless. So a buddy of mine was like, dude, I, I don't have much, but you can stay in my shed. So we end up turning his shed into the podcast station. And so now I have to build up a social media presence. So I did it all from there. We did the podcasting all from there, right? And I'm also staying there, right? Because I got no more office space to go to, right? So
Yeah.
I'm in a shed all the time, right?
And
And I'm
I
working
want to,
nights.
I want to stop you there too, because when I was on your podcast, we briefly talked about, you know, being an empath and being a highly sensitive person. And
Mhm,
sometimes that gets us in trouble. Well, it gets me in trouble. I know that. I can only speak for myself.
mhm,
But it has gotten me in trouble only because I have helped people to the point, monetarily wise, I've helped people to the
mhm,
point where I have put myself, I have made myself homeless because I've given people money to the point where I have made myself homeless. But then when I have set healthy boundaries, the
mhm,
people who don't like those boundaries are usually the people who need those boundaries. So
Exactly.
it sounds like
Exactly.
that's what happened when you did that, is you made those boundaries and then those people didn't like it.
Yeah.
Is what it
But
sounded
see,
like to me.
you couldn't take nothing else away from me. I'm already homeless. What are you gonna
Yeah,
take from me, right? So it just redirected me. That's all. It just
right.
redirected me.
So
I look back on it now, and I'm just like, that's funny.
yeah.
That was
So
funny. Yeah. But yeah, it was strange. But that's what happened. Um, and then let's see, I'm operating from there, building up a social media presence, doing all of these things. So I started putting two and two together. I was like, I don't have a whole lot of money, but social media is a free tool if you know how to use it. So already I'm looking at this and I'm going, yeah, I'm going to use it as a tool. It's the best. We live in the best time in the world. We have access to everything, information at our fingertips. Why not use it? I don't have to get wrapped up into the drama of everybody's life. I can use this to build my business. So I did. And then yeah, I got Facebook, I got Instagram, LinkedIn, all of those things, and I started using it. Right during that course of time, I'm meeting people. People shut doors in my face, but now things are turning around. They see that I'm going to be here for a while, and so those same people that shut the doors on their face open up the doors. It's like, hey, I want to know more about you. I want to know more about you. Okay, cool. Um, there was another thing that I paid attention to. I'm meeting all of these people. I'm doing the podcast, but whenever I come across somebody and I'm reminded, oh, I know someone else that does this work. I would ask them, do you know such and such? They go, no. I go, man, y'all should meet. It's a lot of competition. So in the end of 2021, I had this bright idea. I said, I think I want to start a conference. The guys I was with was like, okay, what are you thinking? I said, you know what? I think I want to do a global grief conference. Okay, how long are you thinking? What do what are you thinking about? I said, you know what? I want to do something that's never been done before. We're going to do it at the end of April. Why? Because there's a significance. You're coming out of Passover, you're going into a new season in life. Might as well go in with some healing, with information and resources. He goes, okay. I said, and I'm going to invite everybody that I know to come and be a part of it. I want it to be a 72-hour event. I want it live streamed because I want people to come and interact with it. And I want them to come in and do what they know how to do. And I don't want to charge them to do it. I'm going to take care of it. So we found StreamYard and I put the word out. And these people came from across the world and they started coming to these meetings. Now I'm still blue and wet behind the ears. I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I'm going to do it. Now it showed something fierce. Okay. But they trusted the process. They said, well, if you fail, this is on you. But we're still with you. We're still with you. And man, I got called out. It's like, you don't know what you're doing, do you? No, I don't. No, I don't. Okay. All right. Well, we're still with you. So we do it 72 hours, 119 presenters from across the world. Oh my God, it was beautiful. It looked messy in the beginning, but it came together so beautifully. Right? So we did that one. Wow, that was amazing. Now, after that conference, that's how the Global Grief Network was born. People said, do you think we can stay in the group? I love being able to meet these many people. I said, yeah, Global Grief Network is born.
But you stuck with it.
And I stuck with it.
Yep. That's
So,
the point.
yeah, I stuck with it, right? So now I got Memories of Us and I got the Global Grief Network. The second year came around. People's like, are we doing a conference again? Are you going to do the conference? Yes, why not? This time, did a lot better. did it a lot better. And it was smooth. People was like, oh my God, right? During that time, I wrote two books. I wrote my first book, Relentless, well, which was an anthology. Shortly after that, Men Grieve Too. Um, and I started writing programs because I didn't think that the programs that was out there was sufficient. So I was like, couldn't write a new program, and I did. And people was like, what do you think about that program? I was like, check it out, right? They was like, oh, I like this. I said, can I keep it? If you can find benefit of it, of value in it, please keep it. So they did. And I wrote several other programs and did the same thing, just gave it away, right? So now 2024 comes around. Are you doing a conference? Yeah, we're thinking about doing it in person. It fell through. Although I had everything set up, it just fell through. It just didn't work out. So 2025 came in this year and I did it again. So that was our third conference that we did. During this course of time, I traveled the world. I've done guest speaking. I've educated people. I started my new podcast because the old podcast, the production team that I started, those guys decided that they wanted to go do something else. I said, okay, cool, not a problem. Not the first time people have left me. And I did it again. I started my Grief Let's Talk About It podcast, changed up the format, been sticking with it, been rocking with it ever since. And I've done a podcast every day, except for this last month. I took a break after 6 years and said I gotta take a break. I need a break, right? I've been going 6 years strong, right? With no break, no nothing. So I'm gonna take this month off. And I'm happy to say that we're about ready to kick off our next season and tomorrow. Or no, not tomorrow, on the first. And I'm set to hit 1,000 episodes. Um,
Yay!
Yeah, which you was part of, right? You're part of. I got five more books coming out. I started a magazine, Grief Talk magazine. In the process of writing an app, and I've been educating people ever since then, and I loved every bit of it. And so I tell people, you can have what you want out of this life if you know what your purpose is. Stick to it, no matter what. Just keep going. Please keep going. I'm going to root for you. I can't do the work for you, but I can share what I've gone through and maybe it'll help you, right? I want to see you successful. And they go, what do you mean? I said, look, check this out. I did all of this while I was homeless. I've only had my place for 1 year. And I know if I can do it, I know you can do it because you got something that I never had. You got people to support you. You got a roof over top of your head. You got money to where you can pay a mentor. You can do it. I just did it. And it cost me everything. It cost me everything. It cost me my heart. It cost me my home. It cost me everything. It cost me everything.
Mhm.
But I still did it because I stayed true to it. And I never complained when I got my butt whipped.
Mhm.
I didn't complain when people left me, when they talked bad about me. I took it, I smiled, and I kept moving. And I'm not perfect, but it cost me my pride and my ego. It humiliated me and humbled me, but it gave me all of this. And I'm still going. So when people say come up with these excuses about money and all of these things, It's just a whole bunch of excuses. Stop making excuses. Don't do that. Don't deny yourself the most beautiful gift that you can ever give the world because you think that you need something. All you need is your purpose. Align yourself with it, right?
Mhm.
And you have to have a dog mentality mindset, meaning no matter what happens, you got to stay hungry. You got to stay in a fight. Eventually, you don't have to fight anymore. And then regardless of what it looks like, you may lose everything. You may lose your car, you may lose your job, you may lose your home, you may lose your family, you may lose your friends. This is just part of the process that you're going to go through. No one's going to give you anything. No one. But be willing to give everything. And as Eric Thomas said it best when he said, are you willing to give up who you are for who you're going to become? Are you willing to stay on the path even when you don't see it? Are you willing to stay faithful to your purpose, even when it doesn't make sense? Are you willing to keep going even when you got nothing in the bank account? Because you're not going to get it right off the bat. It's just not going to give it to you. But are you willing to stay with it? Even when people lie to you and call you crazy and not understand, not see the vision that you see, are you willing to stick with that vision? Because if you are, go through it. Go through it. No matter how long it takes, just keep at it, please. And now I'm able to go back. Look, I'm nowhere near where I need to be, right? And I can go back and I can grab other people. I've made some big accomplishments and formed some great partnerships. People out in Russia, like both of my nonprofits are international, right? I just partnered with the organization out of Russia, right? They're
Mhm.
interested in the program that I wrote. And I was like, man, what? And these people were the ones who trained, I ain't gonna put no names out there, but they trained some pretty big people in the industry, people that I look up to and go, man, I would like to be there. I don't know what it's like to be a millionaire. I don't. But I've met celebrities. I've met hip hop artists and R&B artists and country singers. And they invited me to the party. What am I supposed to do at the party? But they all saw something in me. And they're just like, we want to know more about you. And I'm working with these people. I just partnered with them. I just partnered with another organization that started the Eternal Library app, right?
Mhm.
I got 46 satellite locations across the world, and I have 12 internationally. I've traveled the world and done guest speaking. I've seen places that I never even thought I would even imagine. You want to know the crazy part about it is? I never asked nobody for anything. When
That's
when I
great.
got invited, yeah, when they say, "Hey, would you like to come to Scotland? Come out here and train us to do what you do." I tell you what, just pay for my ticket out there, pay for my hotel. How long do you think you need to be out here? Just a week. Just pay for my hotel room. Buy me a round trip ticket, and I'm on my way. You sure it's not? I don't want nothing from you. I don't want nothing from you. This is an honor. Then I get there. Hey, would you mind coming to Ireland? Hey, while you're over here, would you mind coming to Italy? Would you mind coming to France? Would you mind coming over here to Africa? Do the same thing. Yeah, just take care of this for me. Would you mind coming to Greece, Brazil? Would you mind doing that? Coming over here to just talk to us a little bit? Yeah. How much of it? I don't want nothing. Just take care of this for me. That's it. I don't want your money. What, you going to do it for free? Yes. Because I was told when I identified my gift that I was supposed to give it away for free without any sort of expectations, and everything else would be provided to me. I just stayed faithful. And I leaned into that promise. I got everything I need. I'm not rich, but I don't want or need for anything.
And
Uh,
that's trust.
That's
That's trust
trust.
and faith.
Yeah, obedience, surrender,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I am who I am.
And you've come a long way since that little 11-year-old dealer.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Coming from violence and chaos and trauma and addiction, you know, not understanding what I was going through, learning how to articulate um, and heal, right?
Mhm.
Knowing that this is my life, no more, no less. I have no sort of expectations from people anymore. I know that this is who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I know that this path that I'm on is not for anybody except for me. So, you know, I just don't expect nothing from anyone anymore, right? I would rather give to you than to have you take it away from me.
But doesn't it give you doesn't it feed your soul
Yeah,
when you help others?
yeah. Every day when I get to get up and do what I love doing, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love doing everything. It does come with a price.
Yeah.
It does come with a price. That price is loneliness. I'll never know what it's like to have a family anymore. I'll never
Yeah.
get married. I'll never have a significant other. The price is loneliness. This is the ultimate sacrifice of grief.
But you overlooked a little a little thing. You did gain two daughters. So you want to
Yes.
mention that little tidbit?
Yeah, yeah. So I did gain two daughters. Actually, I gained two daughters and a stepson, right?
Yep.
So throughout this course of time, my oldest daughter found me. And then my youngest daughter found me only through because her mother found me after 29 years. And so I got to meet my both of my daughters. My youngest daughter, she has a 2-year-old, so I became a grandfather. Here's a plot twist. So the little girl that my son's um sister, his middle sister,
Half
contacted me.
sister. Half
Yeah,
sister. Yeah.
yeah, his half sister,
Yeah.
right, contacted me. She is now trans, and she was like, "I want to adopt you as my stepfather. He was the only father I've ever known." So yeah, all in all, the gift that came back to me was one that I never thought I would ever see again. Mind you, I hadn't seen my oldest daughter, in over 30 some years. I haven't seen my youngest daughter in over 29 years. And all of these things came about. It was worth it.
Yeah, sometimes going through it is very painful, but then the rewards at the end is is sometimes little gifts like that
Yeah.
make it somewhat um rewarding.
Well, it is rewarding, right? Um, Here's another thing I didn't mention, right? So I built my own family,
Yeah, exactly.
the Global Grief Network. These my colleagues are some of the best people I've ever met. So although I lost everything and everyone that I've ever cared about, I built a new family with people that genuinely care about me and I care about them. So yeah, it's been worth it. It's
Yeah.
definitely been worth it, right? But that's just goes to show you, don't take for granted the things that you don't see, because you never know what's coming your way. You just never know, right? But
Yeah.
you gotta stay true to it though. You gotta stick with it, you know.
When you find your purpose, you usually find your tribe.
Yes.
You usually find your peeps, and then
Yeah.
your family, not your blood family, but your family.
Yeah. I mean, I still got my younger sister. I still got four beautiful nieces. Two of my nieces got kids. So my sister's a grandmother, you know, and I still have that, right? It's it's the things that you never think about that makes the biggest difference. And I think that's this journey in life as we go through it, right? It's having faith in the things that you don't see, but staying obedient to the path, even when it doesn't make sense.
Right.
You're going to have to go through some things depending on how big your purpose is in the world, right? You're
Mhm.
going to have to go through it. You're going to have to, you're going to have to get beat up. You
Well,
are,
recovery is an adventure. Let's just put it that way.
right.
Isn't It's not a lot of times it's not real fun, but it is an adventure.
Hmm.
And
It's supposed to be.
you can meet a lot of interesting people along the way, and
Hmm.
there are a lot of fascinating people, and you do make a lot of lifetime friends. I know that I have.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do, right? But you have to be willing to make those friends. You have to be willing to go through the chaos. You have to be willing to surrender and become obedient. You have to,
Yeah.
right? You have to be willing to relinquish control and get rid of your safety nets in order to be receptive to new things, right?
Right.
You have to be willing to look at that dirt field in the middle of all the blood and the drugs and the alcohol and the bad people. You have to be able to envision it green. You
Yeah.
are the seed. I was just telling this to someone else the other day. I said, look, the rose in the concrete, right? Sometimes beautiful things grow in some of the most ugliest environments, just to show you that it's possible. Because she was explaining to me how bad, how hard life was going. And I said, and I told her the story about the rose and concrete. And I told her, I said, you're the seed. You're the rose. All of this hardness that you had to be around, this dirt and things like that, when it became dark, you grew. You planted your roots deep down in between that concrete and you pushed yourself up through the cracks. You maneuvered around to where the sunlight was coming up. And now you're the one beautiful thing in all of this ugliness. So can you imagine if you spread your roots out a little bit more and sprouted up a few other places? People come and they water that.
Mhm.
You just inspired other people to come and throw grass seed down. Man, right? So now this one desolate area that's been ravaged by chaos and destruction. Now kids are playing in the playground again. You got people cleaning up the broken bottles and the needles that's sitting out there on the sidewalks. You've now invested back in your community so that raggedy fence that used to be torn down, people, the construction workers that live in your neighborhood have kept came and bought new fencing and put it up, right? The pool that used to be that was covered in blood and everything, man, now they came and washed that out. They filled it back up with good water. The kids got a place to go swim. What about the creek? The river that runs through there, that got all the bottles up there. It got kids with tire swings swinging across it now. Got people out there fishing, right? The
Mm-hmm.
store down the street that was on the verge of going out of business is now coming back to life. The old people that was scared to walk down the streets, they got somebody's hand to walk with them now, right? The lawns that needed to be mowed that was green, they're looking good, pretty good at this moment, aren't they? So just with that little bit of faith, that vision right there, you can change everything. You can change everything, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to be the change that you want to see. And you have to envision what that looks like. Then you have to put everything into motion. Just let it do what it do, right? And eventually that rose that grew through the concrete, it's not needed anymore. That becomes somebody's wall decorations because you planted so many other things. You've just now reached the final part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You can look back on there and you can say, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to leave some good stuff back here. Some really good stuff. And I think part of my purpose and part of this journey is to look back when I'm gone and say, that was good stuff. Like, yeah,
I think so too. I think that's what, well, I think that's what I'm supposed to do too. So
yeah, that's what we're all supposed to do.
hmm
Stay true to it. Stay true to your purpose. It's
leave,
gonna,
leave, leave this place better than we found it is what
yeah,
I was taught. So
yeah.
hopefully that's what we're doing.
But it's not even a hopefully of that's what we're doing. Guess what? That's what we're doing. These conversations that we have, we're definitely becoming a change. Look at now versus what it looked like 5, 10 years ago. Look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? Like
Yeah.
we may not be where we want to be, but we're so much further ahead than where we used to be.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. 6 years ago, this people wasn't doing this.
No. They certainly weren't doing it when I was a kid. I'll tell you that right
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's
now.
what I'm talking about. We was too busy trying to survive in the streets. What are you talking
I
about?
know.
Right?
Well, Tony, thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey and all of that because it is inspirational and it is. And I get a huge smile on my face because I love when I hear people's life. I love when I hear people who are able to turn their story completely around. And especially when their story exceeds beyond their wildest dream. Like, I'm sure you didn't set out to just start a podcast, and I'm sure you had absolutely no idea you were going to be heading to Russia or heading to Egypt or any of that stuff.
None of
So
it.
any dreams like that, when they far exceed your expectations, I mean, I just totally get that. I'm grinning from like ear to ear. So
Yeah,
I always uh I'm always um super excited for my friends when things like that happen to
yeah,
them. And I like to showcase them because I like to show other people that this can happen for them too if they just stick with it and believe and trust and have faith. Because we all have difficulties in our life, but we can all get through them.
yeah. You're gonna
Uh,
get through it. You're gonna get through it, you
yep.
know.
So, okay, I always ask my guests 10 questions and at the end of the podcast. So I'm going to ask you these questions. They're just little thought provoking questions,
Hmm.
and they're kind of fun. So here's the first one. What skill would you like to ultimately master and why?
Unconditional love.
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that one's a really good one. Okay, number two, what has been the highlight of your life thus far and why?
Being able to serve other people.
Okay, good one. Three, what risk have you not taken that you would still like to take and why haven't you?
To allow myself to be fully loved.
Okay. Um, number four, do you have any nick or pet names?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Not
Okay, that's
anymore.
probably a good thing. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, not anymore. I'm just Tony now. I'm just Tony.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. Five. What person, living, dead, or a character, do you most relate to and why?
Hmm. I would I would have to say Job.
Job. Okay.
Job.
All
Yeah.
right. And okay, six, who do you admire and why?
I admire everyone because I find people just very unique. They're very unique because of their own separate dreams and ambitions, their goals. I love watching people become who they're supposed to be in this world. Like that excites me. I
Yeah.
love watching people become successful uh, because I think that's beautiful,
Yeah.
right?
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. What has been your biggest mistake or regret and why? Which is kind of a trick question because mistakes always turn into learning experiences for me.
Hmm.
So I don't really think of a mistake as a mistake.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I'll answer that, but it's going to sound crazy because I don't think there's any such thing as mistakes like yourself, right? There's
yeah.
learning experiences that you will have throughout your journey. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets in my life. I am truly appreciative of the journey that it's taken me on, even when I didn't understand it, because I don't think I would be here today. I really don't. I have a better understanding now than I ever have. So I am thankful for every lesson that turned into a blessing, every challenge that's come my way because it taught me how to get through them, how to grow, right? It taught me humility and humbled me, but it taught me grace, appreciation, and peace. Not to search for it outside, but to build it within me. But most importantly, it taught me forgiveness. It taught me to forgive those um, that may not truly understand their own actions and to accept them because God did it for me and He didn't have to because I was a piece of work. And if God can give that to me, I better give that to the next person. It's my job to give it to the next person. Just like this gift, I'm obligated to do it
Mhm.
because you never know, right? You never
Right.
know. That could be the determining factor of somebody looking at you and saying, I like that.
Mhm.
We don't know what people go through in their life. We don't. Don't contribute to the bad. Do something good for them. Simple hello, simple conversation, laughter, maybe a hug, right? Talk to the homeless man out on the street, offer him food, but talk to him. Your words may encourage that person to get up and go find a good job and rebuild his life. He may even pay it forward to the next person. So yeah.
Okay. So, what is your favorite curse word? Feel free. Don't hold back.
I don't think I have a favorite one. I don't think I have a favorite curse word. I work so hard to not use them, right? But
Fair enough.
if I had to choose one, it would be fuck.
Okay. Fair enough.
Fuck that,
Hey,
fuck this.
I can use fuck in so many ways. It's not
Yes,
even
me
funny.
too. Like fuck that, fuck this, fuck you too. Fuck.
I can morph it into so many ways. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
not a
talking
problem.
about.
Not a
Yeah, that's what I'm
problem.
talking about.
Okay, so what is your ethnicity and heritage? And the only reason I ask this question to everybody is because I want people to understand that alcoholism, addiction, trauma, all that stuff is like it's there's no like
Mhm.
it crosses borders. Plus, I like to know where people like come from. It's fascinating to me. So so that's my
Right,
personal interest. So
right. Now I can answer this in a more common sense way, right? Or I can give people the honest answer. My ethnicity is human.
I
We're all
love
human,
that. I love it.
right? I mean, you can look at me and tell that I'm black, but I'm a human being first and foremost, right? We're
Yep.
all human beings on this earth. No matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, guess what? We're here. We're here. So it doesn't matter where you come from. We all share this big old floating globe in the world
Yes,
out
we
in the
do.
middle of space. We're all breathing the same air. We're all eating similar foods, right?
Right?
We're all here. We're all part of the human race.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, that's my ethnicity, and that's where I'm from,
I love it. I love that
right?
answer. Okay, so last question. What would you what would you hope your higher power, God, the universe, whatever you choose, would say to you when you pass or transition or die? What would you hope he would say? He or she would say, it would say to you.
You far exceeded anything that I ever thought. I want, I want when I go and stand after I'm emptied out into this world, and I go and stand in front of God, higher power, whatever people want to believe. When I go and sit in front of them, I want them to look at me and go, I had to write the rest of your life as you was living it. I had you here. I had you at the nonprofits, right? I had you doing guest speaking. I had you writing a book. I didn't see the other five books. I didn't see the other things that you did. I didn't see the house and the cars. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see the amount of people that you impacted. I had to write this as you were going. I had to sit down and throw it down and go, holy crap. Do y'all see this? I want my God to be surprised at how I turned out and the things that I do. I want him to say, I threw the pad away. I had to sit up here. I had to just watch this as you was living this. I didn't even I didn't know that you was gonna go this far. I had no idea that you was gonna do all of this. Like I didn't know. I didn't know.
That's
I
awesome. I
yeah,
think he's probably I think that's what he's probably doing right now because
yeah,
you've pretty much far exceed. I mean, you shocked me when you said that they were already they wanted you over in Russia. So I mean,
yeah. I didn't, yeah. They reached out to me, it was like, can you talk to us? I was like, yeah. And that conversation led to saying, I want you to come out here and teach us what you do. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you do realize that you're the person who started this. You're the one that people come and get all of these certifications in the world come through your institute.
yeah.
What do you mean you want me to come out there and teach you? Like you've taught some of the biggest names in the world. What do you need with me? But instead, you know what I did? I humbly accepted. I humbly said, thank you for this opportunity. This is
I think
all I
that
need.
yeah, I think that's awesome. And
Yeah,
I'm so excited for you. I think I'm just so excited. I think
yeah.
I can't I wish you many blessings because I think you deserve it. And I'm, you know, uh it's just amazing how you have flipped your life around, especially with all the obstacles that you faced. And
Mhm.
I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed too,
I am too. I am too.
because it's been inspirational. I love to have inspirational people in my life because that's what
Yeah,
keeps me going.
exactly. And it's been an honor. I'm so glad I got the chance to meet you and, to watch you grow, to take the chances that you're taking right now. I think that you're an inspiration. I think
Well,
you're amazing, and to see you start this journey, it excites me to see where you go.
thank you very much, Tony, and your support means everything to me too.
Of
So,
course. Of
so
course.
thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for being with us, and you guys, thank you for staying with us on Sane-ish, and come back soon for the next episode. And we'll see you soon. Take
Thank you,
care.
everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.